Okay. Hi, Lorraine. Give another minute. We have everyone here on Phalen who needs to be here. So Melissa, you're gonna okay, and
Yes.
Eva, okay, and Joanna is here. Okay, Andrea on the phone. Okay, Lorraine is just wrapping up a call. Well, let's give it one more minute before we kick it off. Did I quit this one?
Mr. Owens, when is the last day of school?
June the 8th.
June the 8th? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything going on between now and the 8th that you think the board should see, or?
We're just having we're doing a cookout. We have moved up ceremonies. that we're gonna
Cookout, when
have
is the
for-
cookout? When is the cookout?
We're having two. We're
Okay.
having one for the I believe it's May the 30th for the little ones. May 27th, I believe that's Friday, May 27th.
Okay,
And then we're having a cookout for the older kids. I think that's on the Friday too, June the 2nd, June the 3rd. I don't
okay,
have a calendar for me. And then we have the moving up ceremony for the little ones on the 3rd, and then we have the graduation ceremony on the 6th, I believe, for the 8th grade. And then 8th grades are going to American Dream. That's where they want to go in New Jersey on the 19th.
okay. Well, I'm
You
trying to
welcome
make
to go
the
be
cookout.
you welcome to be a chaperone. Go be a
No, no,
chaperone on the 19th.
Now, I'm past from the chaperone,
Yeah,
but I'll make the cookouts.
you make the cookout. I'm doing the grill, and then we having a. I'm not good with dates. We have Miss Young Myers doing show choir.
Okay,
Okay, yeah. Let's make sure we get the dates. I can come up too.
It's been on their website.
Okay.
The old guy like me, you ask me, I can tell you about money. I can't tell you about dates.
Anyway, I think everybody's here.
Hi, everyone. I'm fully here now.
Okay, hi Lorraine. Okay, great. All right, and then Sharifa and Allison are here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's special board meeting, Thursday, May 4th, 2023. This public meeting of Hope Community Public Charter School Board is now called to order. We will now call the roll to determine if we have quorum. Anissa Bailey. Anissa?
I think she may have fell off the call.
Okay,
I don't see her on here any longer.
okay, all right. Allison Barr,
I'm here.
Eric Johnson,
here.
Rifat Balagan.
Here.
Here. Neha is absent at this point. Lorraine Oyatobo
Here.
here, and I'm here, and we have quorum has been determined, and we will now proceed with the business portion of the meeting. We have an agenda to review. And if there are anyone who'd like to make any changes before I move to approve it, anyone? No, okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
And may I have someone to second the motion?
Sharif, I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? The agenda is approved. And we're just looking at new business and action items that can be added into our 23-24 budget. So let's start with Joanne Gama, who is going to talk to us about the staff pay and benefits proposals for next year. And Joanna, I'm going to pass it on to you.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everybody. Thank you again for making time for this special meeting today. We sincerely appreciate it. For those of you I haven't met or don't remember, I'm Joanne Gama. I'm PLA's Chief Human Assets Officer, and in that role, work with human resources and teacher and leader training and development, as well as our principal and residence program. And as we close out the school year, we are preparing renewal letters for all of our current staff, and we'd like to offer every staff member that returns to Hope next year a 3% increase for the new year. So that is what is on the agenda. We've benchmarked this 3% across other schools, district and charter. Locally in the area, as well as really across the nation as part of a cohort that we are a part of, and we feel it puts us in a very competitive position. We typically see, and what we're hearing from others is that they're giving, anywhere from a 2 to 5% each year, and that's really dependent upon what they gave last year. So for example, someone might say, well, we gave 2% last year, so we're going to give 4% this year. Or we didn't give an increase last year, so we're going to give 5% this year. Here at Hope, since I've been here, we've been pretty consistent. We gave a 3% last year, and we'd like to do the same for this school year. We feel, again, that that'll, put us in a very competitive position going forward for our existing staff that are at the school. The way the renewal process works is we generate renewal letters for staff members. We give those to Mr. Owens, who decides who is renewing each year, and he has one-on-one conversations with them over the course of the month of May. Second thing that's on this, if there are no questions about that, if you go back up, Christina, we've already approved at Hope that we give out retention bonuses, and those retention bonuses are going to be paid out in October. What you see here is a request to approve retention bonuses for the next school year, meaning school year 24. And the reason that we bring that to you guys so early is because typically in the school year, a lot of teachers who are really on it, they start kind of thinking and looking about next year's opportunities in November, December, during the holidays. When our competitors are out there talking to our teachers, whether it's districts or charters, a lot of them will incentivize staff with a sign-on bonus, $500 sign-on bonus, $1,000 sign-on bonus. And so we like to market kind of throughout the year. Remember, each year that you remain at Hope and stay at Hope will give you a retention bonus the following year. And so we just want to have all our bases covered so that we can include that in the budget and make sure it's something that we're able to market and that you guys approve of throughout the year. And then we thought, while we're at it, we know that Eva and team are working on the budget. We have been consistent in terms of giving our staff a holiday bonus every year. So we'd like to work that into the budget to be able to give to them the holiday season at the end of the 2023 calendar year. And if there are any questions about those three things.
Any concerns for anyone?
So just to clarify, this is the bonus would be for paid out October 2024.
Yeah, there is one that's being paid out in 2023, but this is approval to also pay out the following year. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm assuming this has already been vetted against whatever financial obligations that we have and expect and all those kinds of things?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, I think my one, obviously I think this is something we want to do and we want to make sure we, keep the strong staff we have. It's just hard to, I know we're not in a place where we're doing, multi-year budgets. So just, not obligating ourselves to things that without kind of seeing the details, understanding enrollment, kind of putting ourselves in a potentially risky position without even knowing what that 24-25 budget will look like. That is my only,
Yes, noted, Allison. I totally understand where you're
so it's sort of like, can we approve it contingent upon final budget review? Is that something we could consider?
I think so. I've done that in previous orgs. There's kind of like the little asterisk and the fine print, right? That, this is contingent upon 24-25 budget, being approved.
Yeah, I just would flag that this is something we are committed to, but not formally approving it without having that budget in place.
Yeah, I appreciate
okay with
that. I appreciate that, Allison, because that's in part what my
Yeah.
question was getting at, right? So that makes sense to me.
Eva, anything to add to that point for us for clarification?
Yeah, agreed 100%. That, and the reason, right, as Joanne shared, we want to get staff excited about it now, get them locked in, and we always build some incentives in. So then the key there would be hitting the enrollment targets for that 24-25.
Right, because I think the one that we approved was, some of this was built on based on enrollment targets, if I'm correct, or?
That was the performance bonus incentive, Ms. Smith.
Okay.
Yes, and that is dependent upon hitting enrollment and generating the revenue to be able to pay out. Absolutely.
Okay, and Eva, we could make a note to kind of, this is dependent on numbers going forward, or how do you want to work this one?
Correct. I mean, I think that's what Joanne is thinking, somewhere in the, a note contingent on budget, final budget approval. The thing is, these pieces are fairly conservative, right? They are, it's a bonus for staff that return, and honestly, the cost of losing a staff member and bringing the next one up to speed is really going to be more than that. So it's almost a cost of just getting to the following year. Since this one is not the larger one, it is really just having consistency for staff.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Any other comments?
I've got one more on the next slide that ties into, when we're thinking about recruiting and hiring and retaining staff. Not only do we think about, the increases and bonuses and incentives that we give them, but we also just think about employee policy and process. And we like to make sure that we're benchmarking ourselves against other districts, other charters. And so what I have here is a policy recommendation in regards to PTO that I wanted to explain. So right now, if you are a full-time employee, obviously at Hope, we differentiate between 10 and 12-month employees. A 10-month employee, for example, is a teacher. A 12-month employee is the principal. And a 10-month employee earns 7.5 hours the first of each month. So they kind of accrue it over time. And a 12-month employee earns up to 60 hours, up to 80 hours, and they accrue that over time, and PTO doesn't roll over. And so we've done some benchmarking here, and we'd really like to be a little bit more competitive where PTO stands when you look at other charters and districts in the area and across the nation. And so what we'd like to propose is that you receive, everyone 10 and 12 month, and I'll explain this, receives 80 hours of PTO. So that's 10 days at the beginning of the year. So it's front loaded. And we'd love to give the added benefit of 40 hours, meaning 5 days of unused PTO will roll over to the next year, meaning there's not the use it or lose it. Because when that happens, a lot of times our teachers, being so great, they're at school every single day. And then once testing's kind of over, they start taking their time in late April and May, and it makes it really hard on the school leader. So allowing 40 hours to roll over every year, we think will really combat that. We want to note and name that we don't pay out any unused days. And then lastly, really encourage employees to take leave in full or half-day increments, because one of the other things we see that makes it really hard for school leaders is a lot of employees will just be like, well, I'm not going to take a day, but I need to leave 2 hours early, or I'm not going to take a day, but I need to come in 2 hours late. And that makes it really hard and difficult for our school leaders. So this is very typical what you'd see in a lot of districts and charters, anywhere from 8 to 12 days. So we feel like 10 is a good middle number. And then what we've done, while our 12-month, like our principal, assistant principals have the same number of days, we're implementing a kind of closure week in the summer at the end of June. So the last week in June, kind of it's the district is closed, Hope is closed, the PLA national offices are closed, kind of everybody's out at the same time, and it kind of signals the ending of one school year, and then you come back in July and it signals the beginning of the new school year. So they actually end up with a few more days than they would have with this old policy, our 12-month employees, but everybody's off at the same time, so it makes it a little bit easier. I said a lot, sorry. Trying to explain it.
Any questions or concerns?
Quick question. Why doesn't PTO roll over for the teachers or employees of the school?
Yeah, Lorraine, different districts and different charters do it differently. Some do roll over, and then it can make it really hard for the school, particularly small schools, because you'll see, younger teachers. I mean, it works that way in Texas, for example, where I'm at. And so, I was able to roll over every year. And then when I had my kids, I was able to be out an exceptionally long time and it be paid, and the school still had to incur the cost of the sub. So it just, differs by district, and typically bigger districts who can cover it do, and smaller ones don't. And we never have, and so we'd like to pilot, five rolling over going forward. We think that'll really incentivize our staff to not feel like they have to take all their time.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
And Mr. Owens, any comments about any of this? I'm sorry. Wait, I had it printed out. About the raises, the bonuses, and
I have one
updated.
comment.
Mhm.
I guess some of the 12-month employees were talking about how that they don't think it's equitable that they 10-month, 12-month employees have the same amount of 80 hours of PTO. I know you're talking about closing the building at the end of the
You're breaking up, Mr. Owens. We can't hear you.
year for week some branch. One thing. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me start.
Maybe turn your camera off and it might improve your audio.
I had talked to some of the 12-month employees. Hello? No one can.
We can hear you.
It's breaking up.
Well, I think we can. Well. Mr. Owens, you're still there?
I don't know what's going on. The top I died. Communicate to me. I'm here.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. The 12-month employees, they didn't think it was equitable for 12 months and 10 months to have 80 hours of PTO. They thought that wasn't fair because the 10-month employees also get a lot of time off in between. The other thing is that we probably have to stay open. You say closing for the last week. I mean, the last week of school, because we only have a couple 2 or 3 days. We roll right into some advantage. So we won't be able to close. And then we're in the crunch time. It's also a crunch time that we have to meet our enrollment, get our enrollment numbers up. So we can't afford to close down for that week. Not everyone. And that was what they wanted me to communicate tonight.
Melissa, anything to add to that conversation?
No, the only thing I will say is it is a little tricky because from school to school it's different, but we do like if things are in place in the summertime and we do if the regional director feels like things are done, we can close down, you know, like or even those certain people that are not needed, you know, they can be granted time or given a shortened schedule during the summer because summer does look different. We want people to rejuvenate and relax. But on the back end of that, if the school is not ready and we're scrambling still to find, quality people to employ the school or enrollment's not where it needs to be or, all those things. I mean, we still have work to do, you know what I mean? So it does vary, but I understand what Mr. Owens is saying and being in education a long time and kind of to Joanne's point, it does vary. And I've had it the other way, you know what I mean? Like where you have the time off and you know what I mean? So, or you have more time. But I think this is probably partly driven by the finances, but I'm not positive I would let Eva or Joanne or someone else speak to that part. But I understand where it's coming from. But also, I will be mindful. People need to have break. And so in the summer, if we're ready, we will definitely be able to give that time.
What the other thing that we can do, so I hear you, Mr. Owens, and I hear the concern, and this even came to fruition last summer because we implemented at other places this week shutdown is that can be flex time as well. So it could be that the principal is in the building because you're still recruiting, because you're still doing XYZ, but you're giving the AP that time. And then the AP comes back the next week and then the principal takes it. So we can put in process that those 5 days in the summer are flexible if you need to take them at another time, depending upon where the school is at and with the RD's approval, obviously. Does that make sense, Melissa?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mr. Owens?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So you have those additional 40 hours, right? This gives you this would give you 20 hours more, but that week of flex time in the summer will give you 40 hours to be able to play with it at y'all's disposal and pending your manager's approval in terms of what's the best time to take it.
And I have another budget question. Does the budget allocations include coverage for subs or however we would handle the additional hours of potentially having people be out?
Yeah, so yes, so we have the flex teachers that are there for that. We do also allow some for a sub, and that is under, that was the first question, Allison, that I raised too, like what do we do if it's too much? But yes, so we would have that time set aside with the flex teachers.
Okay. Just don't want us to be caught surprised and not have the budget to have, people
Right.
where they need to be. So, okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So we could be flexible if needed. Is that what I'm hearing then, Joanne? If depending on the needs of the school as we're still trying to enroll new students and, close out the year and all these other things.
Absolutely.
Or is PLA willing to be flexible if we need to be with the 12-month employee? Is it 10 and 12-month employees as needed?
Yes, ma'am, with the 12-month employee and the week in the summer at their discretion, if that's not a good time, or if they need to stagger it with the rest of their lead team.
How many 12-month employees do we have at the school?
It's a great question. I could look it up. Typically, it's the principal, the assistant principal,
We
the
don't have
IS, how many, maybe 3 to 5 typically.
We have this, the SEC, the social worker, actually, I believe is also a 12-month employee, and I think that's it. But the director of special education is also 12 months. It's a little bit different setup there, I hope, but yes, we have a couple different people, but yes.
The ops person and the enrollment coordinator, right? So it's about 4 or 5.
So I'm sorry, the principal, we don't have an AP right now. So the principal, special director of special ed.
Yes, the
enrollment
SEP.
coordinator, operations person.
Yes.
We had an office manager. Is that
Yes.
role? Yeah, so that's 5. And the, okay,
And then I
also, I
see
believe-
a facility and nutrition supervisor.
I don't know who that is.
That's
Mr. Owens, you still
Ray.
there?
Mr. Ray, that would be Mr. Ray's position.
Mr. Ray, okay.
But I think, and Joanne, that's a little bit different, but yes, I mean, they're not quite, they're 10 months, but they do work into the summer for Summer Advantage to cover the food services, but it's not a full, they don't work the full summer. So, but a little bit different. But we can actually, if it's helpful, I can pull up all the 10-month employees. We can get that and give you the list of the full, who are those 10-month employees that are identified at Hope.
Okay. Anything else to add, Mr. Owens, to this conversation, but believe?
I missed probably 10 minutes because I had to go on my phone. I got knocked out on my laptop. I don't know what's wrong. So I have no clue what was communicated or what Melissa said. I just got back on just now.
Hey, Mr. Owens, I was just saying, well, we can get a list together of 12-month employees for the board so they know who those people are, what positions are 12-month
Okay.
employees. That was the question. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll send it out to you all tomorrow morning.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if we know upfront that we probably need some flexibility, I think it's best to just get that squared away early
Absolutely.
rather than at the last minute. I don't see it as a problem, but just want to see page. Okay. Any other comments about these 2 proposals? Okay, so I'd like to ask for a motion to approve. Sorry, get my slides. So there are 3 things. The 3% increase for each returning staff member. The retention bonuses for October 2024, maybe with an asterisk or a marker to review that with the next budget season, and the holiday bonus for December 23 of $250. May have I need someone to approve.
I'll approve the motion to approve the updates to the staff raises and the PTO policy contingent on that asterisk.
Second.
All right, great. Okay. All right, so sorry, I need to look at my notes. Hold on. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays or abstentions? No. The motion has been approved. For the staff raises, contingent bonuses for 24, holiday bonus for 23, and the PTO recommendation. Thank you. Okay, what's next? I think Melissa, this is probably you and Mr. Owens.
Absolutely. Really, it's all the curriculum pieces for this next school year. All of them are replenishment items except for Amplify Science. Remember last year we started with 5th through 8th grade because we wanted that list to be not quite as heavy, and we have a science teacher that only teaches science. So you'll see the Amplify Science is less expensive here. We have a bigger bulk in K4 because now we're going to be adding Amplify Science to kindergarten through 4th grade. It's an amazing curriculum. I think it's one of my favorites that we have. It has a lot of science experiments. It's very hands-on. So that first year, it is a heavier lift. Each year after, as you can see, even with 5th through 8, it's much less because now it's just replenishment items. So we have that. The other item on here that is new is Tinkerworks theme. So Mr. Owens and his team put together several items, but one of the things that we talked about was our technology teacher transferring to a STEAM teacher for that position. We wanted to make sure we had a solid curriculum. So this program actually is already developed, has all the lesson plans, the curriculum maps. It comes with a consumable item, which students then create this project for the first semester. And at the end, they have a product and they get to take it home that aligns with all the STEAM standards. And then the second semester, or vice versa, then they have a reusable. So ideally, as we look at this too, we can move into the following year, do the same thing, but flip it. So then we'll have 2 reusable Projects that students can reuse year over year. We'll of course probably have some that need to be replaced, but this includes 30 for every grade level, which is actually a little bit over. We've overbought a bit just in case of there's some that get broken or whatnot, or we have new students that come in and they want to start their projects as well. It also includes all the curriculum, all the professional development by project, and all the things that are there. And then we also still have in our budget some of the things we're talking about for STEAM in general, which includes the VEX robotics with the robotics team, which that's not here, but I just want to let you know those things haven't gone away. Those are still things that we would like to move forward with, but they're something that we'll look at later. But these are the things for the curriculum that we need to get rolling for this school year.
Anything to add, Mr. Owens? I'm sure you and Melissa have vetted this and are in agreement that I think Amplify is new, and TinkerWorks in particular.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work because now we're using science across from elementary all the way to middle school. So that's gonna be a plus. So that'll prepare our younger scholars as they transition vertically. That transition vertically, that they would when you talk about scaffolding, they would be prepared for the next grade level, what they need to know. So that's a plus. And well, as since we're going to be doing STEAM across all grade bands, that works as well, because each grade is a kit for each from pre-K 3 all the way to grade 8.
Okay, okay. And in your PD that you do in August, right before school begins, do you guys like do training on some of this new the new curriculum? Like, is that involved, included in that session as well?
The STEAM is that budget, the dollar amount you see right there, that is they're bringing on their own trainers to come in and train all our staff, which is a plus.
And actually, that's the case for all of our curriculums. We, at the beginning of the year before starting, yes, every curriculum you have on here, we have the vendor that actually trains staff prior to. Some of it's live virtual, some of it's, I'm not sure if we have anyone in person this year coming in, but we have live people that come in and train the staff on all of these curriculums. And we have Joshua there, you know what I mean, that helps to be the person, the face that's there on campus, facilitating these live PDs from the vendor. So we truly do have, those PD pieces. And then we have ongoing PD throughout the school year too, that's conducted by our training team through PLA. But at the beginning of the year, it's truly these people. And this TinkerWorks piece includes that PD list, and it's actually PD by project. So every time a new project comes in, that person can then go, okay, I'm ready for the next PD. And they get to actually PD at their pace, which is really nice and not always the case, so that they'll be ready for the projects that are coming up.
And was there any feedback from the teachers about Eureka? I think Eureka was new for this year, right? Was that new?
We've had it for 2 years now. And to be honest with you, actually, you know what, Joshua, you're on here. Let you talk to it. Because you're there every day. You see people with Eureka Math and kind of how they're interacting with the program.
Yes, I know the big push this year was around manipulatives. A lot of the teachers asked about the manipulative kits, but we couldn't locate them at the time. But outside of that, the teachers enjoyed implementing Eureka, especially because the concept development was rigorous. And a lot of the questions were kind of put out on the lesson plans for teachers. So that kind of helped them a lot, but they appreciated it.
Okay, and the manipulatives will be solved as we do a new order going forward, right? Because that's something I think we heard quite a bit.
Yes, we actually found them in the building this year. So they are ready for teachers to be handed out over the summer during PD.
Okay, all right. Any curriculum questions, Eric?
Yeah, but I don't think this is the forum for me to ask them.
Okay.
Just saying, Eric, anytime you want to email Joshua or I both, Joshua's on the campus every day, please feel free to reach out. We love to talk curriculum anyway.
Yeah.
So feel free. Not everybody feels that way, so feel free to reach out. We're happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay.
Any other board members? Anissa, any questions? Anything about curriculum? I think for me, the big part is as long as Melissa and Mr. Owens are in agreement on the new one, so it's fine. Okay, all right. So all right, so let's get this approved. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the curriculum request of $111,755 for the new curriculum Amplified Science and TinkerWorks, and renewals for Eureka Math, HMH Reading, and HMH Collections. Need someone to make a motion to approve.
So I want to make a motion to approve, Carrie, but I want to say that Allison's, now I'm feeling Allison's point even more than when she made it earlier. I do have some concern about making this many approving this many action items with financial impacts on the budget, but not being clear about what the budget is. That's a challenging space for me. But I think that curriculum is one, curriculum adoptions are one of the research-based mechanisms to improve student performance. And so I tend to lean toward curriculum performances, curriculum adaptations, although fidelity to a curriculum is almost as important as the curriculum itself. And those are questions that I have, Melissa. We just can't do it here. But I want to know about fidelity. How are we ensuring that what the curriculum says we're doing is what we're actually doing? I don't want to have conversations about what teachers feel and they feel good about it. That's great, but that ain't what I care about when you're adopting the curriculum. So I'm a give a motion to approve, Kate, but I am challenged by making this many financial decisions without a clear budget in front of us. That's challenging to me.
Yeah, the budget is still in process, so that hasn't been finalized, and they need to build some of this into it as well for numbers. Okay. So there'll be a presentation. I'm not sure, either June.
We're gonna try to do an initial overview in May, just so the board has some sense of what's in that budget and get approval in June. So just in case there are questions, we leave plenty of time to make approvals without having to rush. That's what Dan, Eva, and I talked about earlier this week.
Yeah, and Eric, we've been talking about the budget since this is last month, I think, when we started having conversations around the budget. So this is just trying to get some things in. Eva, I see you want to say something.
I was just going to share, Eric, that the process that we go through is the school works then with Melissa and the academics team. Hey, here are the pieces that we need. We get it costed out. We flow that into the budget. So the budget actually has a separate tab with every single curriculum item. So these pieces are allowed for. And if it came in that like, oh, no, we can't support, then we already have previewed that. So this is actually directly tied to the budget with some cushion for things that we don't expect and won't know about till further in the year. But great question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I move that we approve the budget items on the table.
Okay. I need someone to second.
A second.
Thank you, Allison. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Nope. The curriculum request is approved. And I just, Eric, there'll be another approval. I think there needs to be a tech update as well for like additional computers for the school and things like that. We were supposed to do it last board meeting. We didn't have it. The proposal expired. So we'll have to visit that at the May 18th board meeting. Yeah. I think, is that it for the agenda? Is there anything else that we should be looking to, anything that other than the IT piece that we need to get into the budget as well? Anything outstanding you haven't thought about? Because I really don't want to come first meeting in August and it's like, oh, we forgot to do, Is any? No? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Melissa, I think we were both, we will circle back with Ops and Haritha's team to be sure that everything is included, but everything that I've seen so far or heard requests about is in the works for the next one.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But we'll make sure.
Yeah. I think we did a little too much of that last year, the one off. So don't want to do that next year. Okay, all right. So now we will open the floor for any public comments. Anyone out there who wants anything to want to say anything, ask anything? No, I think it's just us anyway. I don't think we need a closed session. So I would like to take a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Oh my goodness, I'll give that one. So move to adjourn.
I need someone to second.
I will second it.
I'm just joking.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays, abstentions? No. The meeting is adjourned. I will see you on May 18th when we have some additional items to approve. And thank you all. We are done in record time. Have a good evening.
Bye, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Have a good evening.